$111,000. That's the annual income you need in order to afford the average home in America right now. $111,252 to be specific, according to a recent Redfin report. What's the median family income in the US right now? 86,000. So the average American household is $25,000 short from comfortably being able to afford the average home. So what's the question that everybody's asking? Is it worth even trying to buy, or is renting the smarter move for your bag right now? Well, let's look at the math. Let's look at renting versus buying in 2026. Look at the real numbers, the real data, and come up with a real decision. Not based on what your parents told you or what society is pushing, but what the numbers say. Let's get into it. This is Journey to the Bag. Let me set the scene for where we actually are right now. The median home sale price nationally was $426,747. The average mortgage rate was 6.1%, so that put the monthly payment around $2,675. Now, $2,675 a month seems like a lot, and it is. But compared to last year when mortgage rates were closer to 7%, that monthly payment was $2,800 a month. So technically, buying is becoming a little bit more affordable. We're moving in the right direction, just slowly. And another shift that a lot of people aren't talking about is much of the country is in a buyer's market. There are hundreds of thousands more homes available for sale than there are buyers looking to purchase. So buyers have a lot of power right now. They are seeing the biggest discounts in 13 years. Buyers are getting prices well below asking and getting seller concessions. The median asking rate for rent is $1,901. That's $15 shy from August's all-time high. We're still up 2.1% year over year. Rent is not cheap and it's not going down. It's moving towards all-time highs, but here's the key number. The income you need to afford the typical rent is $76,020 per year. Remember, the median household income was $86,000. So the average American family earns $10,000 more than what they need to afford the typical rent. So yeah, buying is becoming a little bit less expensive and rent is becoming more expensive. The gap is still big, but it is narrowing. Here's the core finding from Redfin that everybody needs to hear. In order to afford the typical home price, you need to make $35,252 more than you need to rent. So $111,252 to buy, $76,020 in order to rent. The good news is this is the smallest gap it's been in 3 years. At its peak in late 2023, the gap was $48,000. So if you are in that median household of $86,000, you can comfortably afford to rent, but you can't comfortably afford to buy. And that's according to the 30% of your income guidelines. And this isn't evenly distributed across the country. Where you live changes things dramatically. Let me break this down for you. Redfin looked at 50 metropolitan areas and the difference in the numbers are just wild. In San Jose, California, you need over $374,241 a year in order to buy versus $135,669 to rent. Buying costs are 175% more. In San Francisco, it's $291,256 to buy versus $122,643 to rent. That's 138% more. Think about it. In San Jose, the average monthly mortgage payment is over $9,000. So you could literally rent for 9 months for what you could pay for 1 month of mortgage. So that shows why a lot of people in coastal cities are choosing to rent versus buy. And for them, that decision doesn't look crazy at all. In Pittsburgh, the income gap between renting and buying is only $7,500 per year. That's a complete difference from San Jose, where it's $238,000 difference. It depends on where you live. That's why you got to remember that personal finance is personal. It all depends on your situation. The right answer for someone in Pittsburgh might not be the right answer for somebody in San Jose, California. Okay, so you've seen the data. Now let's talk about what this actually means for your bag. First, let's talk about renting versus buying and the myth of if you're renting, you're just throwing away money. I've heard a lot of people say that. Your auntie might say it, your parents might say it, but that's not always the case. Think about it. If you're buying, there's money that you're kind of throwing away as well. You have maintenance, you have HOAs. Maintenance is usually 1% to 2% of the purchase price. So if you bought a $400,000 home, $4,000 to $8,000 of that is just going into maintenance. That's not really building equity. But if you're renting and you're investing the difference, then you could be making money and not just throwing all your money away. I do want to say though that people that talk about, all right, I don't have to pay property taxes, I don't have to pay maintenance. You are paying that when you rent. I'm a landlord. I increase my rent to accommodate for property taxes and maintenance costs and utility costs. Those things are baked into your rent. So you might not be paying it directly, but you're paying it. When is buying a smart move? Okay, if you are making a decent income and you're still able to max out your retirement accounts, when you're living in affordable areas, Midwest, Southeast, these areas are more affordable, so it makes more sense. If you are planning on staying somewhere for 7 years plus, you're going to build equity and you're going to get closer to that break-even point where you're not losing money if you were to sell. If you got a high credit score, 700 plus, you can get discounts on your purchase so you can have a more affordable mortgage. And right now it's a buyer's market. So if you can get discounts, you can get seller concessions, bring that payment down, it's a win-win. If you're still considering buying, try to focus on this checklist. Number 1, you gotta have the credit score. The difference between a 680 credit score and a 760 credit score could cost you anywhere from $40,000 to $80,000 over a 30-year term if you were buying a $400,000 house. So fix that, get that together. Number 2, save for a decent down payment, 15 to 25%. If you can get to 20%, you can erase PMI, that's private mortgage insurance. That could cost you anywhere from $100 to another $300 per month. So you could save that on the back end if you put more money down. Number 3, you gotta get pre-approved before you shop. Pre-approved buyers look more important to lenders and sellers. Number 4, stay below 28% of your gross income. If you stretch over 30% for your monthly payment, then you probably can't afford the house. Number 5, you need to budget for the unknown costs, the maintenance, the utilities, on top of the mortgage, the taxes, and the insurance. Number 6, watch interest rates. Redfin suggests that mortgage rates look like they're going to stay closer to 6% than 7% from last year. So if you can watch for rates to come down, you might be able to lock in savings. Here's the bottom line. Buying can be a powerful wealth building tool, but for most Americans, the math ain't mathing right now. So, you need to take your time, work on that checklist, build your credit, build a down payment, make sure you have an emergency fund, make sure that you are prepared for all of the costs, the hidden costs that comes with ownership. $111,000 is the income needed in order to afford the average home. So if you're not there yet, take your time, work on that. Move to a more affordable area. Do whatever you need to do to make sure that the math works for you. Drop a comment. Let me know how you feel about this. Let me know where you live. Let me know if buying or renting is better. Like the video, share the video, subscribe. Remember, the world is yours, and I catch you on the next one. Peace.